Imagine for a second that in 2026, the voice of your closest person could become a weapon against you. Your mother calls, her voice trembles, she's in a panic. She had an accident. Money is urgently needed. You will recognize her every intonation, her unique manner of speaking. Every word sounds painfully familiar. But it's not her. This is a deepfake, a digital mask created by artificial intelligence. All this in order to empty your bank account. Banking experts predict a multiple increase in such attacks this year. Scammers, now armed with neural networks, declare war not just on our wallets but on our peace of mind. But today we will show how those who are called white hackers or digital avengers respond to this war. Right now, as part of our investigation, we will show a dramatic reconstruction of events, how one of these fighters of the invisible front penetrates the system of fraudsters in order not only to stop them, but also to return the stolen goods. No, this is not just another video. This is your guide to surviving in the new digital reality. Be sure to watch it to the end. For Helen, an elderly woman from Austin, Texas, it started as an ordinary day, and her story, unfortunately, is one of thousands like it. In the afternoon, she received a video call in the messenger. Her son Jimmy on screen, who's worked abroad for a couple years. The picture was fuzzy, but the voice was absolutely his. "Mom, hi, I'm in big trouble," Jimmy babbled. "I got into a car accident and there's a victim. In general, everything in the spirit. I need $3,000 right now to settle this on the spot, or it'll be a criminal case. You can't use a card. You know, now all transfers are tracked. I need a courier for cash. I'll explain it later." Panic and animal fear for her son disables any critical thinking. With trembling hands, Helen gathered all her savings. And an hour later, the young man, the same courier, stood at her door. She gave him the package with money. And only 2 hours later, when she finally managed to reach the real Jimmy, the terrible truth was revealed. Everything was all right with him. He did not get into any accident and, of course, did not ask for money. Helen fell victim to a new wave of fraud, where AI creates frighteningly convincing deepfakes. Criminals have learned not only to clone voices, but also to animate photos from social networks, playing on the strongest of our feelings, love for loved ones. But the story did not end there. In desperation, Helen's relatives found a way to a man known in narrow circles as Phoenix, an ethical hacker who wages his personal war against fraudsters, and he agreed to help. Our hero Phoenix works anonymously. What you will see is a dramatized reconstruction of his methods, which balances on the edge of the law, but pursues one goal: justice. For him, this is not a job, this is a mission. The first stage is open source exploration, OSINT. Scammers always leave traces: phone number, description of the courier. You can cling to all this. Phoenix starts small. In a simplified form, it punches the number through special bots and leaked databases. Phoenix is a master of disguise, but in 2026, the usual VPN and anti-detect are no longer enough. You may not know, but security algorithms are getting smarter every day. If you don't want your accounts to be banned in 5 minutes, check out our academy. The Pantief Road course is a database of anonymity and bypassing detection systems. This is a practice after which you will stop working blindly. Save yourself weeks of tests. The link will be in the description under the video. Look, Phoenix explains, his face hidden and his voice altered. The number, of course, is in the name of a figurehead, classics. But he appeared in a couple of ads on murky forums for quick money. This is our first lead. My advice for you is not to use public networks, but to use proxies in your daily work. Again, using the link in the description, my promo code Franklin and a profitable cashback on your deposit will be waiting for you. Next is social engineering. Phoenix, using a pseudonym from the same forum, writes to the scammer offering a profitable deal. He introduces himself as an experienced HR manager who is looking for a team for a new call center. The scammer, smelling the smell of easy money, swallows the bait. The correspondence goes on for several hours. The goal of Phoenix is to convince the interlocutor to download and open a specialized program for accounting customers on a work computer. In fact, this is a trap file. In the world of cybersecurity, there is a term, Trojan, for this. He thought he was going to get a new tool to deceive, but in fact, he is opening the door to his system for me, Phoenix comments, sending him the file. You know, it's like the old saying, the best way to capture a fortress is to have the guards open the gate themselves. Phoenix sent not just a file, but an invoice with proof of payment. Scammers are greedy individuals, and they will always click for money. Therefore, in this case, social engineering hits the target. The fraudster runs the file. A simple program interface appears on his screen, but at the same moment, green lines of code run on the Phoenix monitor in the terminal window. Now begins the most tense part of the operation, which we recreated from the stories of the participants. Phoenix sees the rogue's desktop. The whole criminal kitchen is in full view. Okay, let's see what we've got here, Phoenix says, methodically clicking through the folders. Aha, here they are. Folder scripts, prepared texts for different scenarios. A son in trouble, a bank employee, profitable investments. And this is the voices folder. Here, they store audio samples which are fed to the neural network for cloning. Tables with the data of dozens of other victims flash on the screen. Names, numbers, amounts. This is a conveyor belt, a whole industry of deception. Phoenix finds a transaction related to Helen. Cash has already been converted into cryptocurrency to cover their tracks. They think crypto is anonymous. Beginner's mistake. Phoenix grins. It tracks the chain of transactions through public blockchain explorers. What he does next is a complex and risky maneuver. It is important to understand. In real life, only a few people succeed in this. It's almost a Hollywood script, but in our story, it's a symbol of hope. Phoenix initiates a reverse transfer. The amount equivalent to $3,000 is returned to a safe account. But Phoenix didn't finish. It opens the victim database and clicks delete without hesitation. Then folders with scripts and voice clones. The entire infrastructure that the scammers have been building for months turns into nothing in a couple of minutes. Finally, Phoenix opens a text editor on the swindler's desktop and types one message. You deceived the old people, playing on their love. You heard the fear in their voices and went on. Now your business is dead. The money returned to the victim. I pass all your data to the police. Phoenix. It breaks the connection. This battle has been won, but the war continues. The Phoenix himself says, I know I'm breaking the law to restore justice, but when the system can't keep up with technology, someone has to become a barrier. Right now, close your eyes and imagine your mom's voice. Now imagine that this voice is asking for help. Would you hesitate? Probably not. And this is the main tragedy of 26. Let's figure out what really happened. The scammers use deepfake technology and voice cloning. Artificial intelligence trained on short fragments of voice, for example, from old voices or videos on social networks, can generate any phrase with this voice. This makes the old relative in distress scheme frighteningly realistic. Why do they demand cash through couriers? Because banking and government anti-fraud systems are becoming more and more effective, especially in blocking suspicious transfers. Cash for fraudsters is a way to circumvent this digital control. How did the hacker manage to gain access? Through social engineering. It did not crack complex passwords, but manipulated human greed into forcing the crook to voluntarily launch a malicious file. This once again proves the weakest link in any security system is the person himself. And although, according to media reports, the total number of cybercrimes in 2025 showed some decrease, threats related specifically to AI are growing exponentially. Criminals no longer need to be geniuses. Neural networks do all the dirty work for them, lowering the threshold for entering this criminal business. Helen's story ended well, but only thanks to an anonymous hero's intervention. Hundreds of other stories end in tears and lost money. We cannot hope that there will be a Phoenix for each of us. Our main protection is ourselves. The state and banks are introducing new protection measures. It is already possible to establish a self-ban on loans, and telecom operators and anti-fraud systems block millions of fraudulent calls. But the technologies of criminals also do not stand still. So here are 3 simple but vital rules. Come up with a stop word. Agree with your loved ones on a unique code or question, the answer to which only you know. If a relative calls and he is in trouble, just ask, what is our code word? Artificial intelligence does not know this. Hang up and call back yourself. If someone calls you from an unknown number and introduces themselves as your loved ones, it is better to always interrupt the conversation and dial his number yourself from your address book. Do not rush. One of the main tricks of scammers is to create a sense of urgency and put pressure on emotions. Just take a break. Say what you need to think. This simple action is unsettling and gives you valuable time to assess the situation. The battle of hackers and scammers is not a movie. This is our reality in 2026. And on this battlefield, the main line of defense is our vigilance. Please show this video to your relatives and grandparents. One of your warning calls today can save their savings and nerves tomorrow. Be on the alert and take care of yourself and your loved ones.